Gloves Off is always on point. On point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by The Best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off. If you've ever wondered, if you ever had a clue what would happen if Batman, the Avengers, the X-Men fought the 47 Ronin, you will have great hitting, power strikes, and speed. This event will be known as the North Texas Stick Fighting Championships. It's open to all martial artists. This is where legends are formed, where they're forged, where they are founded. Sign up now. Call the number 956-401-4868 and look up the website at www.savate.biz. So remember, this is for serious martial artists. If you're not serious, sit back and whisper about the event. If not, we'll see you there.
Back at you in Gloves Off, and today I have a great friend, former city councilman Gene Belmares. How are you?
Hey, good, Paul. You doing all right?
I'm doing okay. We're just here, trying to escape the heat, and we
Man,
can.
I'm telling you, it's a scorcher out there.
It's crazy.
That's right. And everybody asks me, what's it like in Laredo? So, well, it's like being 3 feet from hell. It's a hot place.
It's exactly right. And you got some good ideas, some hot ideas coming of age. What's going on now?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Let's talk about Liquid Studio.
Oh, Liquid Studio. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing in the private sector. I get asked all the time if I'm ever going to jump back into politics, and I'm trying to tell them I'm having too much fun with my company, Liquid Studio Group. My partner Mario Macaroni and our staff over at Liquid, we're having a great time helping companies build their brand and build their businesses. Our company is transitioning from just what was really at the very onset a web studio. We built lots and lots of websites. But now we do all the traditional marketing and advertising. We also do social media, SEO, PPC. But our real big focus has now been on getting our clients a return on their investment, doing a strategic planning for our clients that includes their website and their traditional marketing and all of their social media, all the tools that are now available to helping them put them all in a nice little package, bundled together, get an economy of scale, so we drive the price down of our service, and at the same time be able to return some dividend on their investment, whether it be advertising with us or through us with the other agencies that are out there, like television stations, radio stations, and so on.
Correct. So you actually basically manage their advertising.
Absolutely, we are an extension of their advertising departments or the marketing departments if they have one, and if they don't have one. Oh, we've got some music coming on here on my phone. Love my Kodachrome ringtone there. Yeah, so we have an extension of we're an extension of a lot of folks' marketing departments, and in those places where small businesses don't have that, we play that role for them. We help them plan their marketing campaigns, their advertising campaigns. We can and do oftentimes for our clients handle all of their advertising relationships. So the television stations come to us, the radio stations come to us. They present their plans for our clients. We turn around and counsel our clients on where to spend their monies.
And here in Laredo, has a business community taken fond of that?
Absolutely. We manage about 100 plus websites. We've got about 25 clients that we handle their social media, their website, and some other aspect of their business. And then we have about 5 or 6 clients that we are their marketing department. They pick up the phone, they order everything from business cards to big promotions and big commercials. So yeah, it's done well. We've really had a real great success, Paul, in working with nonprofits. The nonprofit world that's come to us, we share a lot of what we've learned over the years, a lot of the library that we built in terms of code and structures and things of that nature, and share that with them at an extremely reduced cost. The only thing we ever ask of a nonprofit is don't make us a nonprofit. We do charge for some of our services, but we do a lot of work for them pro bono and use our extensive network of both businesses and relationships that we have, whether it was relationships we built when I was on council, or Mario was with the Laredo Hockey Holdings and Bucks in those days, and just the great network that our staff has in bringing awareness to that nonprofit's mission and helping them obviously gain an audience and or use of their services.
No, that's wonderful, because many nonprofits need that. In fact, the majority do.
They
and
do.
You have a lot of folks out there that are actually trying to do something good. You have a good group of board of directors, but they do not know how to take it forward, how to get that mission out.
You bet.
And we need that kind of work. That's
And we're happy to help them with that. Use our expertise in business development. That's my role with the company as our business development officer, is to help them be strategic and tactical in their planning. Oftentimes many companies, just like many organizations, the city of Laredo being one of them as well, and others, they do the strategic part really, really well. Here's our strategic plan, what we want the city to look like in 2050 and beyond. But they don't do the tactical plan very well. The tactical plan is the when, the how, the who, and all the nuances that go into putting that plan into effect and actually working it, rather than just putting it on the shelf and saying, look, we had this great plan that we did in 2000 for Laredo 2020, and here we are approaching 2020, and none of those plans have been executed. So again, going from the strategic to the tactical, we help companies do that with their own brand, with their own services, and also with the nonprofits, specifically them, because you're trying to put together a cohesive board that has many ideas, many thoughts, sometimes very large boards, and get them all to kind of think together, facilitating opportunities for them to come up with ideas and put them in a good package where they can all row in the same direction, all steer in the same direction.
That's awesome. Now, let's touch base. You said the city, and that thing, that always lights people's minds.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on with the city. You, as a former councilman, what did you see the hardest thing to do when you went inside? Were there any myths or any urban legends that you thought were going on?
Well, absolutely. I went in there with a lot of preconceived notions about how council worked. I had a great mentor, Joe Gettler, God rest his soul,
Yes.
who guided me in that process. But even with him as my mentor and as my guidance, I still looked at things a little differently. I'll give you a good example of one big myth and one misconception, that the trips to Washington are of no value. I went in there with the full intent of saying, I want to kill these things, I'm going to figure out a way to stop having these trips. It's a frivolous expense. And the reality, after my first trip, and actually going to work every day from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night, meeting with congressmen and their staff, senators and their staff, with department directors and heads of HUD, the DOJ and others, and attempting to tell them our story and get ahead of those people who are in other communities, telling the very same story for their communities. If the citizens of Laredo don't understand that dynamic, the myth is that they are effective and they are necessary, because every other community throughout this country is doing the very same thing we are. On many occasions when we were up there, so was, Kissimmee, Florida, and Racine, Wisconsin, and Sheboygan, and all these other small communities, 100,000, 200,000, 50,000 population communities are going up there arguing and asking for the very same things we wanted. And so that was one of the misconceptions that everybody had. Oh, it's a frivolous trip. I get it that there are things that are seen at a distance. The council members that are out having, a cocktail late at night, or there was one year where everybody was in a room drinking, and I think that gave everybody a really bad taste in their mouth about this trip. The reality is, the council member that you elected, if he goes to work and he does the right things and he takes these things seriously, shows up to all the meetings, goes to as many as he can, and articulates the message of the community and his district, you can have very, very impactful conversations with those people in Washington, D.C., and now in Austin also, because that's a trip that I started, to be able to communicate to them what our needs are.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. And a lot of folks look at the trip for in D.C. and they'll say, you know what, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, they're out there partying. Listen, everybody is entitled to have a cold one after a hard day's work.
Absolutely.
You have to relax somewhere or another, and if it's just one, fine. And that's not what it's all about. I mean,
That's right.
That's
Everything
really,
in moderation.
correct.
Paul, I think that's one of the things that we need to stress to our council members and others, is that everything's in moderation. But I guarantee you that a lot more business is done in the private sector on a golf course than it is in the
absolutely
boardroom.
correct.
So much is done over a meal and other places, and that's just how business is conducted throughout the world. It's not just done in boardrooms over hard negotiations. Some things are done in a more relaxed setting when people can really see who they're dealing with. And again, so much is built on relationship and not so much what you know, but who you know and how well they know you and your community.
No, you're absolutely correct. Now, how do you see, we talked about plans, and one of the major things is everybody always says a misconception.
Mm-hmm.
Misconception of the arena, the misconception on how our taxes are used. Elaborate on what you found was a lot different, that most individuals do not understand how it works.
Well, and a good example of what they could see right away in a short clip, and not to take my word for it, but in the next couple of days, the city council is going to go through the budget, and they're going to have these budget talks and these budget hearings with staff and city management, and they're going to lay out all the things that account for how our money is spent. I will tell each and everyone who's interested in government, who really cares about our community, to, even though sometimes it's kind of dry and hard to watch these budget meetings and watch how our monies are being spent and how the monies are being allocated. There's a lot of comments that are made on social media I see all the time. I can't believe the city is going to invest more money in the sports complex. We're already, the taxpayers are losing money at the arena. Well, that's not true. The taxpayers aren't losing money at the arena because it's not paid for by property tax, it's paid for by sales tax. So not just the people who live in Laredo who buy things, but all the truck drivers and professionals and people who come in from Mexico who don't ask for a refund on their sales tax. All these people who come into the city of Laredo and buy something are contributing to the funding of the arena and Unitrade, and now in the future the sports complex. And the arena, while it could use that sales tax monies better, and I will advocate for that, and I do agree with those people who make that comment, the reality is it isn't impacting our property taxes. It doesn't hurt our ad valorem taxes. It's coming from sales tax. And so your O&M, your operations and maintenance, is covered by that. So is your debt service. And after we're done paying for our debt service and our operations and maintenance, which is about $4.5 to $5 million, that fund still produces $8 million. So there's $3 million in reserves being built every year, so that now we have more in reserve than what we actually owe on those two facilities. So much so that we could conceivably build a new sports complex out of cash and not have to borrow. And again, when you build these large facilities, much like ourselves at home, I wouldn't go out and build my house out of cash. I would go out and get a mortgage, especially right now when interest rates are low, and finance that house, especially when I'm offsetting some of that with my reserves that are also gaining interest. The one thing to always remember about the sales tax fund that we use to pay the arena and the sports complex and unit trade is that it continues to grow. Every year as our economy gets better, it gets more money into it. So as our population grows, as our economy grows, that fund continues to deliver 8 million, 9 million, someday 10, 12 million every year. And again, we have to look at a better way to use that money. A 4A or 4B tax would be phenomenal. Unfortunately, the legislature did not allow us to go forward with a 4A, 4B. But there'll be opportunities within the next 5 to 10 years to sunset that tax if we want to, pay off all our debt, and maybe convert it to a 4A, 4B. Again, it's a measure of trust that the government, the state government, and our citizens have to have in its local government, which I don't think they have right now, for them to be able to make that conversion. But hopefully someday they will.
No, you're correct, and it's always for the betterment of the radio.
Always is.
That's what should be.
Right.
I don't see that, and I know many of them on a personal basis, you know, as well as you. I don't see any public official go in there with a nefarious attitude. I see them going in there to help the community, and that they're stuck in a place that they did not know how it actually works.
Sure.
So they're kind of, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think everybody goes in there with a great nature of helping.
I think so. I'd like to believe that people have a good heart to them, and that they go in there with good intentions. But you know what they say, Paul, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Sure.
When you're in there, it's important not to be jaded. It's important not to get corrupted by the system. Not necessarily, and I'm not meaning taking bribes, something silly like that, something foolish that some people would do and some people have done. But I mean, get to a point where you're no longer questioning what's happening, what's the best thing for the city of Laredo. Now it also becomes a status quo, especially if you've been in there for your second term and you begin to just say, well, you know, it is what it is, I can't change it. You got to go in there with that same fresh start you did the first day to the very last day until you leave office. Always wanted to make it better, questioning those things that don't make sense, trying to get input from people. Dr. Martinez has a great thing going on. I had it when I was on city council, and he has brought it in, and he has given it new life, and I think he's doing it even better than I ever did. He has created the District 6 Advisory, which is a monthly meeting of all his appointees to all of his committees. And they meet once a month to discuss all the items that are being discussed at the committee level first, long before they get to council. Getting a really good idea of what's happening, what are the issues, what are the problems, what is staff saying to them that they maybe not be saying to council or to the public just yet, and bringing all that information to make good decisions every single time that something comes to council. I applaud everybody who has volunteered. These are unpaid positions to serve in these committees like planning, zoning, traffic, transportation, the economic development, all of the different committees, parks, that have volunteered their time to give their expertise and their knowledge to the council member to guide him through this process. Because you need a lot of people to guide you through this, and there's wisdom in the multitude of counsel. So I'm glad that he's doing it. I think he's going to be served well by it.
And that's also, he's also a good man, and as you state, and he's one of those that's trying to look out for the betterment.
Absolutely.
And
he's
you
been dragged
see
into the
that.
mud, as of late by this one particular group, and we won't mention who they are because they don't deserve that type of.
They're not important.
They're not important, and if you've watched the last 4 or 5 council meetings, without that group present, the council has moved smoothly. The business is getting done. Questions are still being asked.
I'm glad somebody else noticed. I saw the same thing, and so now you're saying it, so it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Decorum. You need order.
You need order. You need decorum, and you really have people now that are true. The citizenry, the true citizenry, coming to the podium and asking real questions, and not making accusations or painting everybody with a brush of corruption. They're going in there asking real questions about the real issues that we have, in a manner that allows for them to be some type of debate, discussion. And it's great to see that, and see that the council meetings are now ending in a respectable hour, that the decorum amongst the council themselves is improved. I think Dr. Martinez has had a lot to do with that. I got to give him a lot of credit, and Mercurio Martinez, the 2 new council members, have really brought a balance. But you have guys like Vidal Rodriguez, Councilman Rodriguez, and Councilman Gonzalez and the others that are there coming together. You start to see them having the same vision for a community and starting to work together. Councilman Bali and all the others have done a really good job of moving the city forward in the last couple of weeks.
You're absolutely correct. You don't see them going there in a defensive manner.
Right.
Defensive, like, oh, somebody's gonna insult me, let me insult them back, and be the first one.
Sure.
And, you know, negativity has to stop.
It has to. I mean, again,
And
we're seeing it in national politics and state politics as we are on the local.
We're, you know,
It's a shame.
we're at a point, we're at the pinnacle, that it's gonna go one way or the other.
Mhm.
Either it's gonna stop, or it's gonna go straight forward into some civic unrest, and
Oh,
God
yeah.
forbid that.
God forbid civil war, something like that, something crazy like that happened. But you know, there is such a discontent and a disconnect in between the citizenry on one side and citizenry on the other, and those that believe one thing, those that believe another. You know, that it is. I mean, almost looks like a civil war where brothers and you know,
Yeah.
don't agree and are accusing each other of racism and
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
You know?
crazy. It's just been awful.
You know, don't talk about that word racism. It's been used so much, it's lost its meaning.
It's right. I mean, it's.
I mean, racism to me was, and when we grew up, you know, it was, you know, they called us spick or something like that. We all could turn around.
Hey, and
It was
fighting
fighting
words,
words
yeah.
right now.
You bet.
And now it's kind of like, you're racist because,
So we did so. It's like,
you know, you're racist because, you know, you like something Trump said, or you like something whoever said, and
Right.
you know, you pledge to the flag. You're a racist. Wait a minute. Stop.
Yeah, I mean,
Stop.
That stuff's got to stop. I mean, again, I have friends in all spectrums of this country. I mean,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
a diverse. I mean, I truly have a diverse group of friends. My circle of influence is diverse in both religion, ethnicity, gender. all
Absolutely,
those
and that's the
things.
way it should be.
And thought. Believe it or not, I value my friends who are more liberal or Democrats because we're able, to this day, we're still able to have good, honest debate without insulting each other or losing our friendships. Even the really hot topics, the hard topics.
There has to come a balance and sense.
Exactly.
And I think it's a common sense that people have lost.
I agree. I think
And,
people
you know,
lost
we
that.
need to basically stop, let's look at the whole problem,
You bet.
you know, and I think we have.
Take
And
a holistic approach to it.
Exactly.
Right.
And you mentioned something in Unity that's coming of age in District 6 that you're part of. What's that
Yeah,
about?
Doc Martinez, is a council member, has tasked me with putting together a very large community event that will be happening in November. We're not going to announce it yet. The announcement's going to be made September 10th. The councilman, and again, talking about misconceptions, the council member, one of his very first meetings, wanted to change the ethics ordinance to allow for donations. And immediately accusations were, because you want to take bribes, you want to do this, you want to do that. Unbeknownst to everybody who was slinging that mud, Doc had already been talking to a philanthropist, an individual who wanted to gift the city a large sum of money in the neighborhood of mid 6 figures, and another organization, a company, a large corporation, one of the largest in the world of its kind, who want to make a financial contribution to North Central Park, and it couldn't be done because of the way the ordinance was structured. So changing that so the large corporations could make that donation, and people like myself and yourself, Paul, and others who want to donate a bench or a tree or something to the city could now do that, even if we might have some relationship with the city. But I've been wanting to give trees and a bench to North Central Park, but can't make that donation. The city couldn't accept it because of the way the ordinance was written. And so here we are trying to do a good thing, be benevolent, right? Give back to our communities from the things that we've been able to have been successful in deriving from our community, and give some of that back. And that ordinance didn't allow it. And yet the accusation was that he was doing it for nefarious reasons. Unbeknownst to them, he was working to get these donations come in. So we're going to have this big project. Going to need a lot of volunteers and some donations.
No, we will. We'll get that going. When is it?
It's going to be in November the 23rd. That's the date. We'll make the announcement September 10th. You'll see it as we begin to celebrate North Central Park's 10th anniversary. Paul, do you believe that? North Central Park has been here for 10 years now.
That's it, and that's something that you and Commissioner Velasquez started.
Absolutely.
You guys started way back then. I remember when,
You
and
bet.
people were saying, no, we don't need it, and you guys went in there and pushed it, and now everybody's using it.
Absolutely.
Because
It's-
you go there and you have people from the south, from the west, from all corners of Laredo going in there and using it.
And this is only phase one. There's phase two is where the shadow bike trails are. That's phase two of North Central Park. It's divided into two sections, North Central Park East, North Central Park West. And with this particular donation that's being made, we're going to start coming back from the west to the east to join the two pieces together. You're gonna see a park which original master plan was to have 225, 250 total acres come together, and you're gonna see this park will rival anything you see in Texas, and someday, maybe not in the next 5 years, but the next 10, 20, and lifetime beyond me, it could rival something like Central Park in New York, and that's what we hope for.
We hope, because, you know, and we need that.
Yep, we need this
need that.
community, absolutely.
What else would you say that's touching base, that can touch some minds out there?
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you that the city right now is going to be the benefactor of $220 million coming from TxDOT to finish Loop 20 and take it to interstate standards. That's something that Councilmember Roquevela Jr. had fought for and just was adamant that had to happen. He was, just did not want to let that project go and advocated for it at all levels in Washington and here in Austin. And unfortunately, he's no longer in the council. He's not politically involved anymore. But the seeds of what he planted are coming to fruition in that TxDOT has finally gone out and gotten the money that we need to do I-69 to interstate standards, Loop 20, interstate standards, and have all the overpasses there at Del Mar, at the airport, at Jackman, all of that coming in the next 4 or 5 years. You'll have all of that done. So 2024, maybe you'll see it all 100% complete. But those monies will be here soon. And just the announcement was made this last week.
Well, that's totally awesome.
Yeah.
Those are some great news.
And more for District 6, a little closer to home. Springfield, which has been on the books. It was on the books.
Will that be connected?
That's going to be connected to Loop 20, all the way down from Del Mar to Loop 20. The request for proposals went out last Friday. So the engineering firms are going to be competing for 3 segments of it. That the part that goes through the park that is south of the park, and the park that is just south of International connects to Del Mar. That's coming forward. TxDOT, the RMA, and others are going to chip in as well, hopefully. And this project, within the next 2 years, will alleviate a tremendous amount of traffic on McPherson. That section between Del Mar and San Isidro of McPherson is completely congested. So having another arterial running parallel to it, 35, Springfield, and McPherson, will certainly help alleviate that traffic. So Doc Martinez has done a phenomenal job of putting that together and getting it to go forward.
That's awesome. That's awesome, because, Springfield that's needed.
Absolutely.
Dramatically.
And also being very careful, gingerly going through the creek area there, making sure that we stay west of the creek and try to protect that creek as much as possible, keep the bike trails intact as best as possible as well, and then at the same time create a water feature, create something more like those tunnels, that one tunnel, because there's going to be just one crossing that will look like something in New York where you kind of can ride your bike underneath it safely, well lit, and it'll have this beautiful New York look to it, hopefully, when it's all done.
Well, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and sports tourism, sports complex coming. That's going to be great for South Laredo. We've often said that a rising tide raises all ships, and to be able to put a sports complex in South Laredo and create an economic engine for South Laredo, keep the type of construction and the type of residences that have been built inside Cuatro Vientos different, distinct from what we're building outside of Cuatro Vientos, where you have 2-car garage product. You're talking about 1,500 square foot homes. Now you're going to get professionals to start moving down to that area in gated communities and others that resemble what you can find in North Laredo for less. Developments like what Richie Achar is building down there, the Valdez family is building down there. All the things that you see out there are going to create the kind of rooftops that will have theaters and other entertainment venues and restaurants, doctors and lawyers moving south.
You're going to see that, and Laredo. I'm going to tell you why. Because that's our other point of entry into Laredo.
You bet.
And Laredo has to grow that way as well.
It has to.
And it
it's
has
got
to-
some of
it has
the
to
best
move.
views, Paul.
No,
I don't know if
no,
you've
no,
ever been
no,
out
yeah,
there.
of course.
Some of the best views of Laredo are from South Laredo. I can see myself 10 years from now retiring in a house in South Laredo on the hills, overlooking, you know, this beautiful community of mine that I love so much, and having that kind of house that I can enjoy in retirement.
No, you're absolutely correct. And it, you know, it's like, we got less time, but what else would you like to say out there to let out?
Well, just stay active. You know, if there's a charity you like,
Get involved with
get
it.
involved with it. If there's a charity that's missing, start it up. We'll help you. Come to Liquid Studio Group. We'll do what we can to help you. Come to folks like Paul and others. Come to this show. Support this show. It's a great platform to get this message out. Our good friend 24/7 Judge Gossett has a great platform. From Ghetto Radio
has another one.
James St. John.
People have to, you know,
Independent radio, independent podcasts, independent Facebook live stream shows like this are going to be key in getting information out to people.
and you're also, you're actually a board member of TOCA, which we
Yes.
started, and that's bringing that fellowship together, that
Absolutely.
unity. And
Set
we all might
standards,
have our
set standards.
differences, but we all agree to disagree and agree to move forward and agree that, to one thing, let's make Laredo in Texas #1 again.
Absolutely, because what you really want to do is build a community, get some great standards for
Sure.
everybody, and then just make it grow, so that, you know, we can use this platform, these platforms that are now becoming of age,
Absolutely.
and use those to get our messages out.
And I tell everybody, whoever wishes to come out, please do give me a call, 956-401-4868. Give me a call. You want to talk about the Girl Scouts have something, the Boy Scouts have something to do, any community service that's going out there, come out here, because people do not know you, and this is a great way for people to know you.
Yeah, that's
the
right,
way it
that's
is.
right. And the one thing I would tell everybody out there is get involved with these agencies and these charities and these foundations, because you don't want to rely on government. The last thing anybody wants to hear is, hey, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. That should be the scariest thing on the planet. Remember that a government that has the ability to give you everything you want has the power to take everything you've got.
That's absolutely, and be careful on what you vote for. And one thing we have to vote for now is that taxes in Texas, which is kind of tricky. Remember, for no state income tax, you have to vote yes.
That's right. Yes, and this, no means yes in this particular case,
Yep.
right?
So understand it,
So,
read it carefully.
But the way that's been played out, but they structured it in such a way where, you know, the no means yes. So you've got to vote yes to say no to taxes in Texas.
Yeah.
So we don't want a state income tax at all. It's a
Yes to no.
Yes to no. Yes to no.
Yep.
Say yes
Got
to
it.
no. Paul, thanks
That was
again
a
for having
pleasure.
me.
We'll see you
Thanks for
again.
having me again.
Folks, until next time, be safe.
If you've ever wondered, if you ever had a clue what would happen if Batman, the Avengers, the X-Men fought the 47 Ronin, you will have great hitting, power strikes, and speed. This event will be known as the North Texas Stick Fighting Championships. It's open to all martial artists. This is where legends are formed, where they're forged, where they are founded. Sign up now. Call the number 956-401-4868 and look up the website at www.savate.biz. So remember, this is for serious martial artists. If you're not serious, sit back and whisper about the event. If not, we'll see you there. Gloves Off is Always on point. On point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off.